Okay, this is the second video for our logarithmic functions, continuing on from the last one. So if you haven't watched the last video, you need to watch that one first. Okay, so the last graphs that we looked at were these two here, log of base 2 of x and log of base 2 of x minus 1. And we discovered that it was the same way that we'd done our usual functions. The same rules happen for these graphs as well. So when I exchanged the x for an x minus 1, it translated our graph 1 unit towards the right, which is what we learnt previously. What we're going to have a look at now are these two graphs, log of base 2 of x and log of base 2 of x plus 3. Now think back to our last topic, functions. What happened to our graphs? How did they translate when we added a value onto the end? Pause it if you need to and have a think about it. It actually moved our graph upwards. So if we've got log of base 2 of x and we're adding 3 to it, it's going to translate that graph 3 units upwards in the y direction. So let's fill in the two sets of values here and have a look at plotting those graphs. We're going to do it with the box plots in this style, but we also need to know the gist of what's going to happen with those graphs as well. So let's pop these in. Now, likewise, like we had before, I cannot put a log of base 2 into my calculator, so I need to think about what those rules are for doing that, and we've done those for the last one up there. So our first one here is going to be a minus 2, a minus 1, a 0, a 1, and a 2. So if you forgot what we had to do, log of base 2 of a quarter, we had to split that quarter up into a 1 and a 4, and when it's in the division or a fraction, we have a minus in there. So log of base 2 of 1 minus log of base 2 of 4. And we had to think about what that meant. So I've just copied those values straight down here again. Now we've got to add 3 to each of those. So we've got minus 2. We're going to add 3 to our first values. We're going to have a 1. We're going to have a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Okay, so I want to draw those two graphs on my axes down here. Basically what I'm going to do is, for my first graph, log of base 2 of x, it's identical to what I drew on the axes above, so I'm just going to redraw that on my one below here. And let's do that one first. Okay, so I've just redrawn my graph there. It's my log of base 2 of x. Okay, on that same axis, we are going to input the values and draw our log base 2 of x plus 3. So let's have a look what that's going to look like. So when x was a quarter, our log of base 2 of x plus 3 is 1. So we're basically here. I'll pop it in a different colour so we can see that a little bit better. Okay, when x is a half, our log of base 2 of x plus 3 is 2. Up here. When x is 1, we're at 3. So we're way up here. Okay, so I pop my points in there. I'm just going to join all these up now. What you can see is it's slightly different. And this one's a bit more steep than what this one is over here. And this is our log base 2 of x plus 3, and it's shuffled it up 3 points. Although my graph is probably not particularly pretty, you can tell that it really has moved that upwards by 3. If you have a look at what's happened here, here's my point that matches this point up here. So I've moved up 1, 2, 3 points. Okay, I've moved up 1, 2, 3 points. So it has shuffled up 3 points. So what that now allows you to do, I'll just shuffle back over to the textbook for a moment. We are in 7F, exponential and logarithmic graphs. Feel free to go through that textbook. Basically, I've summarized for you what is in there, and I would like you to have a go at some of 7F, exercise 7F. We don't need to do all of it. In the OneNote, if you go back into there, it will show you what I would like you to do. 7F, basically 3, 4, 6, and 7. There's a link to the video the first video and I'll pop the second one in there now. Thanks, guys.